Nigel, we're here in Indaba. We're in the ATTA hospitality area and exhibition area. There's lots and lots of vibrancy here. How do you do it?
Well, ATTA creates the platform for the buyers to meet the suppliers all over Africa, and our membership spreads from right up north, so Ethiopia, all the way down to South Africa. We have about 15 African countries involved, and our job is to promote tourism in Africa. And ATTA provides that platform, and we have many different roles. I sit on the British Foreign Office's Travel Advisory Bureau, and so we work very closely with them on the travel advisories, which has been a big problem in the Kenya situation. And we put out information to all our members on what's going on in tourism.
Now, you speak about Kenya, and we have a situation from a British perspective in Zimbabwe as well. Most of the Kenyan suppliers here have said that, particularly the British press, over-egged the issues there. Is that something you would agree with?
No, I don't think they did. I mean, I think the Kenyan situation was extremely serious. We had a situation where on the 28th of December, after the election, things went very pear-shaped in Kenya. And on New Year's Eve, the British Foreign Office put a non-essential travel advisory on Kenya. Now, the problem that we're all trying to work with in the trade is, what does really a non-essential travel advisory mean? It effectively means that if you travel, you are not covered for insurance. And this is the big problem. People going on safari and actually out in Kenya at the time, okay, they're covered. But people going after and ignoring a non-essential travel advisory are not covered in any way for insurance. And that could mean all sorts of insurance. Even if you're killed, unfortunately, in a car accident, perhaps your insurance wouldn't pay up for your family. So that's one thing we're always very worried about. And so we're working with the Foreign Office to try and get these sort of issues sorted out. One thing I will say in the Kenya situation was that on the 28th of December, tourism dropped from 100% to probably about 10%, and it is very difficult to understand why that happened. In the whole disaster, not one single tourist was injured. In January and February, after the Kenya problem, 60,000 tourists went to Kenya, not one was harmed. And this is where the problem that the UK tour operators and the accommodation suppliers in Kenya have been facing. We are absolutely delighted. I mean, it's a great plus for Africa that the 2010 Games have come here. But as we all know, these games and also the Olympics are a problem, and the problem is always politics, and politics and tourism don't really go together. We're working closely with South Africa on the 2010 Games, and ATTA have formed up with SATSA, who are the biggest, the trade association out here in South Africa, to see that everything runs smoothly. And we're delighted that the Games are coming, and we'll be working closely with them on that issue. Africa has just so much to offer. You know, I always think, and I've been coming to Africa for the last 30 years and lived in Kenya and come down to South Africa. You know, it's so exciting to arrive in Africa. The smell, the sounds, the light, the colors are just something sensational. And every African country has something different to offer. We all know about the big game, the Masai Mara and the Jonathan Scott, the things he's done with Big Cat Diaries, and then we come down to South Africa. And, you know, South Africa have been amazingly clever what they provided over the last 10, 15 years. And we're not just talking about the game experience, we're talking about the winelands, we're talking about the struggle, and, you know, they're very open about it, the South Africans. They want people to see what's happened. And, you know, the whole perspective of Africa is very open for the tourist, and there's so much to offer. It is the most wonderful continent.